Alright y'all, so as promised, I'm going to give you a little more detailed review of my latest boat, which is the Stealthcraft 1860. So it's got a 60-inch bottom, 18 feet long. It's actually 1710, which keeps me under the Coast Guard rule for a whole bunch of added things. But I went a little bit wider with this boat. You probably saw my video from the last boat, which was the 1854. I 100% loved that boat. This boat is just a little bit wider and has twice the horsepower. So let's get into this video. So let me give you a tour of my new boat, but first I want to tell you some of the reasons I chose Stealthcraft. So the first Stealthcraft I bought was, geez, probably 10, 11, 12 years ago, something like that. I bought the, it was the 18-foot ATB model, and originally at that time we had decided that we were going to move to Tennessee, and I was going to try to guide down there. I had been guiding here since 2002, and we just thought it was time for a change. I was having some issues with my fingers. I've had Raynaud's since I was about 13, and so I was having some finger problems. We really were thinking we had to move to a warmer climate. So Tennessee was kind of our choice, and so at the time I sold my 18-foot aluminum power drifter, which was by Rogue Marine at the time. I don't think they're even in business anymore. But I had looked at the Stealthcrafts a number of times, and Mike Batke had mentioned wanting to get me in a Stealthcraft quite a few times, but I didn't love the finish of them. I knew they were a good boat, they were built with really cool materials, but I didn't love the finishes at the time. And over the years, they just kept getting better and better at the finish work. And so finally, I was like, yeah, these look really nice. So I got on board. I bought the ATB, and wasn't positive it was going to be a great boat, but I was hopeful. And so after he got the boat done, Mike took me down to the boat launch because he wanted to get some pictures of the boat. And so he grabs a 50-pound pyramid anchor and sticks it in the cup holder, which was like up this high, you know, sticks it in the cup holder, just point down. And it was a brand new pyramid, had all the sharp edges that a new cast pyramid lead anchor does. And so he goes to back the boat down to the launch, forgets that the pyramid is in the cup holder. As soon as he comes to a stop, the pyramid falls out of the cup holder and just goes bang, bang, bang all the way down to the back of the boat on the floor. And I was watching from a distance thinking, oh my gosh, this is gonna destroy the floor on that boat. And so I went over to look at it, and there was not even a scratch on the floor. Not a dent, not a scratch. I was blown away. If that would have been an aluminum boat, it would have been dented all over the place. And I thought even fiberglass would do that, but no, they built these things super tough. That was kind of a game changer for me as far as how I felt about how tough this boat was going to be. And so I had that boat for probably 5 or 6 years. I milked everything I could out of that boat. I normally get a new boat every couple years, but I had that one for a long time. Went through 2 different motors on it even. I don't know how many guide trips I did out of it, but a lot. And it actually didn't lose a dime value. In fact, I think I traded it in for as much as what I paid for it when I traded for the next boat, which my next boat was the 18-foot power drifter. So with the ATB, I had to go with a prop, and because it has a tunnel. And I even tried a jet on it at one point, and it was terrible. It didn't work, but it was good with a prop. And so after going through, I don't know, 6 props a year for quite a few years, I went with the power drifter. And man, I'll never stray from the power drifter again. It is such a great boat for what I do, for the Muskegon River. You know, we often have really low water at times, and I can go full speed over. I've gone over dry land before when the water was super low and I had to get around somebody. I actually went over dry land one time, and you know, it filled my grate on my jet intake with rocks, but the boat made it over. It hit in the front just a little bit, and then the back just scooted right over. So I'm on my 6th or 7th Stealthcraft at this time. I've had the Bighorn skiff, I've had the ATB, and I've had several of the Hooligan rafts, and I think I'm on my 4th or 5th power drifter. It's got to be the 4th or 5th power drifter, and my last one was the first one that I went with a center console. So I got the 1854 with a center console. I debated for years going with the center console because everybody who has one raved about all of the advantages. but I had been so used to a tiller and liked the tiller that I saw no reason for it, and I thought the console would just get in the way. But the last boat I had, I'm like, I'll just give it a try. And I absolutely loved having a center console. And honestly, I'll never go back to a tiller at this point because I love having a center console so much for so many advantages. And so my latest boat is the 1860 Power Drifter. Looks exactly like my last boat. The only difference is it's 6 inches wider on the bottom, which makes a huge difference, and I'll show you. And he was having trouble getting the 4060 Mercs because of the COVID stuff and supply chain issues, but he had some 8115s in stock, and I was a little concerned about that because most of my trips are swung fly trips, and that's a big motor to swing over. And that was the only concern really, and being just a little heavier in the back, harder to row for my bass trips. But what I've found from doing a month and a half of a lot of swing trips already in this boat, it's not an issue at all. Like it's a non-issue, no big deal at all. And I've rowed it quite a bit, and it seems to row almost as good as my Power Drifter that had the 4060, and I think that's probably due to the wider bottom. So yeah, it rows good. It's a little different to put on the trailer because it's heavier in the back end. It doesn't turn as quick as my Power Drifter that had the 4060 on it. So turning it on the trailer doesn't happen quite as quick. It's just a little different to load. It's not harder, it's just a little different. But yeah, let me give you a little tour. Honestly, I'm 100% happy with this boat. So I'll show you what it's all about here. This beautiful little spot that I'm parked at. Nice little creek flowing in here. The water's really high right now. It's like over 4,000 CFS. Kind of dirtier than I like. But it's a nice day, finally. We've had so much rain this year. So here's the boat from the back end. So you can see we got the big girl on the back here, the 8115. It is a big motor. It's fast. My top speed is around 35 miles an hour, and what I've discovered is it makes no difference if I have 2 clients back there. It makes no difference if I have 1 client back here or 1 client up front, 1 client on the back of the cooler. I can have 3 clients in here, and it doesn't matter their position. I can get on plane. I can go 35 miles an hour regardless of who's in here, whether it's just me or whether it's a full boat. It doesn't make any difference. 35 miles an hour is my top speed, which is fast, way faster than I need to go, and I rarely go 35 miles an hour. So looking at the back here, we've got 2 removable seats. A lot of times I just have 1 seat back there just because sometimes they catch the line, and so they just pull right out easy. So I can take them in and out as I want. I got my camera box and my tripod there, but those aren't normally sitting there. We've got some geese flying over. So I've got the 9-gallon gas tank, and I probably average 15 to 20 miles of motoring every day, and I probably go through $30 worth of gas every day. I'm going to show you what's in the hatch here a sec. Yeah, I think I've been averaging but gas is over $4 a gallon right now too. So I'm going to switch batteries in my camera, then I'm going to show you what's in the hatch. Okay, we have a new battery. So basically every morning I stop and get gas. So just fill up the tank from right up there. No big deal. And I have my power cord right here for my onboard charger, which I charge every night. You know, being that most of my trips are swung fly trips, I use a lot of battery during the day. My anchor is going up and down all day long. So I charge it every night. I could probably get by 2 days. We got the battery over there, and then we got like the water water fuel separator thing. You can see they got some really beefy add-ons in here just to support the heavier motor. I didn't have that on my last boat. I don't think I needed it with the smaller motor. So then I ended up, as far as what I like, I went with the narrow tackle trays, and I keep rods down in the bottom there too, and I can actually fit my 13.5 foot spay rods all the way to the front of the boat in those bottom sections. But since they're out almost every day right now, I just keep them on top, and that's been working really well. Easier to get out. So I've got the tackle trays on both sides, plenty of rod storage on both sides, tons. Between the top of the tackle tray and the bottom rod storage, there's a ton. I did keep my box, my custom-made boat box from the last boat, which I built this box and then I had Stealthcraft gel coat it and stuff. So that's all that is right there. Same thing that was in the other boat. And let's see. Where I really noticed the biggest difference being a wider boat is right here. When I have to have clients go up and down, you know, between the front of the boat, and then if we're motoring a long ways, I'll have one client come sit on the back of the cooler or in the back seat. So this extra width right here has been a game changer. My last one was pretty wide still, but you know, some clients would have a harder time stepping down there in more of a narrow spot, and this spot is probably 3 to 4 inches wider for clients to walk up and down than my last boat, and that has been a really nice change. I think that's probably the thing I notice the most about the extra width, is that extra room right there. So we got lots of room under the console. I just keep a plain old box down there with stuff that I don't need to get to all the time, you know, extra spools of line and stuff like that. And over here, the switchboard here, I'm a pretty no frills guy. I didn't want anything fancy, so I don't have any interior lights. I do have, let's see, we have the spotlight on the front. So that's the 2 lights that are hanging off the anchor arm, and those are super nice. If I am motoring in the pitch black, that lights it up just as well as a car does on the road. I've got my bilge pump, I got my nav lamps, and my winch switch right here. So that's the winch up and down, and then this is just a cutoff for the winch, just for safety reasons. I never use it, but for safety reasons, if I was worried about somebody hitting an anchor button when I didn't want them to, I would just cut that off. And then I got my rear anchor light, and here's a really nice feature. I mean, I got my 12-volt plug here, which honestly I haven't even used that yet, but this is really nice. I got the double USB port right here, and so that works really good for charging my phone, charging extra batteries for my heated gloves, all that sort of stuff. And then I did go get this little waterproof box. It's just a cheap box from Meijer, but it is waterproof, and I mounted that permanently to this just for storing things that I'm getting to all the time, keys and nippers and my wallet and things like that. So if we walk up front, I did get the casting brace up front just because standing up higher, it's a little less stable up here, and I take a lot of older clients that aren't as stable as they used to be. But I just keep a dry bag. I can store several dry bags up there, and sometimes I even just keep my grill up front here. Lots of space in that area. And then if we turn around from the front, we have the view of the back. Nice wide boat. Got a couple cup holders up there. Honestly, you can set a cup on the tackle tray, even taking off and going full speed over rough water and everything, and it rarely will even tip over. So my windshield here, I love the windshield. I don't use it often, but when I do want it, it is the best. So all I did there is I have just a little bungee clip right there. Just undo that, and I can flip the windshield right up super easy, up in place, and then I lock it in place with just that pin right there, which is super easy. I have that on both sides, but I only use one side. Even with one side locked, it's super stable. It's not going anywhere. So I don't tow the boat with the windshield up, but The windshield is super handy for those really cold days, or if it's snowing or pouring rain, stuff like that. I have the Pro Lock 10-foot oars. They are so light. It's crazy how light these things are. I think they weigh like, between the oar and the paddle complete, I think it's only 1.5 pounds each. So super light. I love that. My arms are not built for super strength. They're built more for speed, if you've seen my arms. And so having a light arm or a light oar is really nice, really nice. And so that's really about it. Just keep my grill right here for now, just for convenience sake, but if I'm not using it a lot, I'll stick it way up in that front section there. Yeah, I love the throttle. The first thing I always do with the center console is I get the suicide knob, because I don't like my fat gloves going in between here and all that other spot. The little suicide knob makes it really quick and easy to turn that wheel in a quick circumstance. The other thing that I did, and I did this on my last boat too, is I had River Larry. River Larry's awesome. He's the one who builds our winches and stuff. Very good fabricator, welder. So I've got a cord here. The boat I was borrowing last fall had a remote, so a wireless remote for the anchor, which was really nice, but the cord I never have to replace the batteries in. And because I use my winch so much, I was going through one of those little AAA batteries every single day. Like, it would get me through about 3/4 of the day, and then I'd have to switch batteries, which is no fun when your fingers are already cold to be switching batteries. So yeah, super impressed with this boat in every way. I can't think of anything I don't like about it. Alright, I did think of a couple more things while I'm sitting here. This boat, you can see I went with this spaghetti mat flooring, and I only did that because the boat I borrowed last fall had it, and I couldn't believe how much I liked it. For one, probably the biggest reason is that I didn't ever have to clean my boat. It stays looking clean. Even though it's filthy dirty, you would never know it. But if I flip this up, look at this thing. It's a gross mess. But nobody sees that but me. So I haven't hosed this one out yet. I've guided out of it a month and a half, and that's all the dirt that would have been seen every day by everybody if it wasn't for this spaghetti mat flooring. And it also feels really nice on your bare feet and keeps the floor from getting super hot in warm weather. We did have a couple warm days already, so I got to test it out. So that is really nice. And the other thing I forgot to show you was this giant hatch up front. So this huge hatch right here. And that is a great place to keep all of my life jackets and things like that. And so I got my boat cushion in there, life jackets, and it's just hidden and out of the way. And another thing I did differently from my last boat is this little cubby down here, this one down here at the bottom is a nice place to put my silverware and things like that, you know, down here. It normally has a door there, but I told them not to put a door on this one because I would never use the door anyways. It's just a good place to put my dustpans and, you know, little storage bags and silverware and things like that. Good place out of the way. But other than that, I think we covered it all. I think we've covered it all now. I probably showed you this on one other video, but I had my Yeti 65 in here originally, and it just seemed like I was too short when I was sitting down. So I swapped it out for the Stealthcraft 75 liter cooler, which is a little taller. I think it's like 3 inches taller. It's made just like the Yetis. It has the rotocast. It's rotocast built, and lots more room in here. I have a divider, you know, to separate my pop from my food and my other stuff, and super well insulated, and I'm very happy with that. So I had the guys put a cushion on that for me because that's where I sit when I'm rowing. and I really like it. The only thing is, I was wishing that the seat cushion was a darker gray, but honestly that seat cushion gets so hot. My last one did, being a dark gray during the summer on bass trips, that I always had to put a towel on it. So this one being white, it might not do that, but it does show every little stain. Like, we got a bunch of midge guts everywhere on it right now, but that might be a blessing come hot weather. We'll see. So here is the way my trailer is set up. I have the roller in the back, and I have these really slippery, I think they're Teflon or something, bunks, and they're still, I mean, they're slippery, but they're a little sticky still. I'm used to having those rollers on my last few trailers, which the boat slides right off, no problem. But on these, they're a little more sticky. I gotta back the boat in a little bit farther. What I'm thinking about doing is having Stealthcraft build me a catwalk. So basically it would come under the anchor box here over to this area and then up a little farther, so I could have something to be out of the water on. Right now I'm kind of at the top of my muck boots here. These muck boots, I'm pretty much at the top of those to get this thing launched. So that might be in the works, but other than that, and I'm not even saying I don't like these, because I do, but I love this trailer. It's easy to put the boat on and off. It's a really, really well built trailer, completely galvanized. It's not gonna rust. And I got the big anchor box for all my chain, and yeah, absolutely love this trailer. So, to wrap it up, if you guys came to this video looking for dirt on Stealthcraft, it's not coming from me. I could not be happier with my Stealthcraft boats, every single one of them that I've owned. If I ever did have a problem with any of them, they've fixed it right away. Customer service, in my experience, has been top-notch. I like the boats, I like the people. It's a good company. It employs a lot of people in a small town. They use really good materials, and I can't say enough about them. So there's my honest opinion, a 100% honest opinion on Stealthcraft boats. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next video.